to another episode of Tips by Tommy. Today we're installing Shiplap on the walls in our late 1890s house here. We left up this paneling, it was already up, just to make it easier to nail the Shiplap to. Then we got our first board down and we made sure that it was good and level. We had to saw up some of it at an angle so that we didn't have too big of a gap at the bottom. Because this house isn't level anymore because it's 100 some odd years old. So then we got our next couple courses on and we had the jigsaw around for the plugs and we're just going to keep going up. So it goes up pretty easy. We're just putting it in with a brad nailer with like a 10 gauge nail. It's really small nails but they hold just fine. And all I do is just put it up and then really only need them in the tongue of the groove, but I've noticed a couple times where this has kicked out at the bottom a little bit, so I've put a little nail in at the bottom. This one seems to be fine, so we'll probably leave that one alone. But
okay.
And then we're just going to keep going up and up until we're done.
Would you recommend that someone use definitely a air compressor nail gun?
You don't have to, but it makes it much easier.
Okay.
So it saves us a lot of time.
So we're staggering the lines too, so it's not perfect.
Our cut lines, so that they're not too uniform. Slide it down a little bit. Which way? This way. Just here that way. A little bit more this way.
Okay.
Once you make sure the first one's level, they pretty much stay level at that point, so they just sit on top of each other going up. So
it goes right onto the
and that
groove.
helps to set your gap up, and the thing is right.
If it come down this way, Jet, the tab. Okay, that's good.
Here we are on day 2. This is definitely a weekend project for a large wall. Doing good so far, Tommy?
Yep. We learned one lesson yesterday. I measured wrong. I measured to figure out how many pieces I needed. I measured the entire width of the board, and I should have just measured this part. So I miscalculated. We had to stop last night and go bit more. So
Okay.
just a tip for anybody doing it.
Sometimes your calculations may be wrong, but at least you can always go back to where you bought it, which we bought ours at Home Depot, and you can buy more. All right, so what kind of tools are you using to cut the shiplap?
I'm just measuring with a standard measuring tape kind I need, or the size I need, and then I'm just cutting, marking it, and just cutting with a regular circular saw.
Okay, now I did notice that, well, you can go ahead and make that cut. And I was curious as to what other tool you use to cut out the little spot for the plug.
I'm just using a jigsaw. This is an old one that our grandpa gave me. So this is a very, very old jigsaw, but it's just a standard jigsaw like any other. So.
Okay, so that would be something to use to cut out holes if you have
Holes
sockets.
for plugs, or I'm going to have to cut out a spot to go over top of the door here shortly. I'll use it for that. So.
Okay, so it's shiplap. Seems easy, maybe on HGTV and videos, but there is a little bit of science and math behind it.
It's not quite as easy as they lead you to believe. Like we had to cut the bottom piece to angle for the floor because the floor is a little off kilter in this house because it's so old. So.
Yeah, but even in a new house that can happen.
It could, sure.
So you're cutting little pieces to go on the side by the door.
On the right side of the door. So I know I need a bunch of pieces of 14 and a half.
Okay.
So
Let me show you all where these are gonna go. Excuse me, I don't wanna be in the way. So this is where they're gonna be going, on the side by the door. We did it like this. We didn't wanna measure up all the seams to be perfectly even. What size board did we buy from Home Depot?
This is like about a 7-inch board. The thing winds up being a little over 4 inches, 4 or 5 inches there.
What was the length? Because I know there were 2 sizes and we got the smaller one because that's what fit in the truck.
These were 8 foot. They also had 12 and 16 foot, but they're so long to fit out the end of a regular pickup truck, it's just really hard. These are about a 4.5 inch on this part. The entire board's a little over, well, actually about 5.5. So.
Okay. So you can see we've got, it's not one plank, does not cover an entire wall, but we're okay with that because that's kind of the look we're going for. So this is installing the smaller boards.
They have a tongue and groove, so you just kind of sit on top of there and just kind of sit it there. That's pretty much it. I'm trying to make sure they're all the way back in the corner. But yeah, we always leave a little gap here for our trim for the door.
Okay. That's a good tip.
Okay, so for this part, we have to miter out a little bit over the top of the door.
It's to go over the door.
Yeah, so we can fit the trim back in correctly. So it's just like a 1/2 inch, so we're gonna use jigsaw for that.
Okay. So you made the jigsaw cut, that way it could fit over the door area.
Right.
Now you're installing.
So here's our finished wall. All in all, took probably about 6 hours, I'd say, altogether. Not counting the second trip to Lowe's for extra boards.
Or Home Depot.
Home Depot for extra boards. So
What about the top up at the top? We're going to
We're
be
gonna run
putting.
a piece of trim at the top that'll have that little gap at the top.
Okay. So where did the term shiplap come from, or why are people using it in their houses?
Well, it's basically a rough sawn board that has a joint on each end that overlaps, so it creates this shadow when you put them up. Originally, they would put this up instead of a plaster, because this was before they had drywall, and then they would cover it with muslin, canvas, or some sort of wallpaper, and then that would serve as the base for the wallpaper. It's cheaper than having plaster done. So that's what they would use it for back in the old days. Of course, now we leave it exposed because it makes a nice accent, but that's what they used to use it for. And I also had seen on an episode of This Old House that in some places they used to take it off of old boats and put it up, and that's where the term shiplap came from.
Great educational tips, Tommy. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.